Were you nervous about this, about this comeback by the Blazers, Shadon and Denny popping off 14-point deficit in the third quarter? Were you a little nervous? Bro?
I was not a little nervous one bit. I knew it would be a competitive game just from how they played the last time. But look, man, we've seen this team now be able to figure some things out. Even against the Bucks, they looked pretty good on Friday night. I was pretty confident that this team would come in and just be ready to attack. Even with Karl Anthony Towns not shooting the ball well, and this is what you like to see from Cat. Wasn't shooting the ball well, but was very active on the boards, and we saw all these guys just start to lock in, especially when you hear after the roommate show that dropped this past Thursday, right? You hear how Brunson and Josh Hart talking about saying, like, focusing on attention to detail, right? Making sure they're like attacking the 50-50 ball, making sure they're just like locked in, whether it's closing out on defenders, whether it's just, continuing to rotate on offense. That dropped Thursday. Remember that. Then you have the Bucks game on Friday where they showed, okay, they were going to be locked in. I was not worried tonight that they were not going to be locked in. But give kudos to the Blazers, man. Once again, this is a tough team. They're a very young, tough team. Denny Avdia showing that he can ball out, man. Shannon Sharp showing that he can ball out. Anthony Simons, another guy who's hooping very well. This is a good young team. And look, if the Knicks were to match up with the Detroit Pistons in the postseason, this is a good test for a stingy team that's young in a tough Western Conference, who I expect will be better next year. And this is a good test for for a Knicks team, right? Because if they do play the Pistons, that's going to be a young physical team. Pistons, young team, very athletic, very energetic, plays a little physical. I liked it, man. But I was not worried one bit, to answer your question. Were you worried, though?
Yeah.
Because I can see you a little bit over there, man. You look a little nervous. You look like you were sweating a little bit watching this game.
Nah, man. Like, what's so interesting? And we're definitely going to talk about Pistons and physical tonight as they got to brawling tonight with the Wolves. We'll talk about that. We'll get into all that theatrics tonight on this show, too. Action-packed show tonight. Action-packed show. We got a lot to talk about. I wasn't nervous because what was so interesting is that leading up to this game, there's just a lot of talk about what I call the dog days of the season. Like after this team lost to Charlotte and the Spurs back to back and everybody's whining and first round exits. And I'm like, they'll be fine. They'll be all right. This is just the dog days. They're ready to get to the playoffs. They're over the regular season. Melo and Rudy Gay talked about it on 7 p.m. to Brooklyn about why the season is too long. And Rudy Gay he mentioned it like, you got guys heading into the playoffs that are ready to wrap this up. They're ready to get it over with, and they're coasting. And then they talked about teams like the Blazers who have nothing really to play for, going all out kind of like they did tonight. And then on the telecast tonight, Clyde talked about it like, yes, this is the dog days of the season, but you still want to see positive signs as they head into the postseason. As you said, paying attention to detail, scrapping, getting after it on the 50-50 ball. So I think both sides certainly have a point. So I wasn't too worried because I felt like when the Knicks were ready to turn it back on, they would. And that's what we saw in the third quarter. Like, yes, Sharp was impressive and Denny continues to impress. And Kumara was out there just outworking them. They were just getting outworked. They were getting out-efforted. And it was just up to the Knicks to match that energy because all the Knicks had to do was match that energy and they were going to win the game easily. And I thought they did that, especially in the third quarter when they got back to turning the Blazers over and then their shots started to fall as a result. And the one play I really liked, especially in the third quarter, was from Mikal Bridges when he got crossed up by Sharp and he thought Sharp was about to coast. He's a glider. You thought he was just about to glide in for a layup. And then Mikal sends it flying. OG recovers it inbounds, gets it to Mikal. They're running the break, passes it to OG, who does a jump pass to Mitch for the slam to complete the play, all defense to offense. I thought that was cool. And then at that point, I was like, we're fine. We're definitely good to go. So, no, I really wasn't worried, man.
And that I'm glad that you brought up that play because that play was that was the tone setter. That was like, all right, guys, time to get locked in, time to hone in our skills because this is a talented team, man. This team. There's no question this team has a lot of talent, and as we're seeing right now, this team can hang with a lot of teams, even with all the injuries that they have. Tibbs says it. You said it. We all know it. This team has enough. Even with DeLon Wright playing point guard, this team has enough to compete. Even against the Clippers, man, where they let go of the rope. It's will this team stay focused for all 48 minutes, and do they have that toughness, right? It's a mental game at the end of the day. And that's where you can have all the talent in the world. You could be the most skillful player in the world, but if you're not if you're not mentally ready to go to war for 48 minutes, it's going to be a long playoff series. It's going to be a long regular season, whatever it may be, man. And so this team, that's where it comes down to the attention to detail. And you've not only heard about Josh Hart talking about it, and Jalen Brunson talking about it on their show. McBride talked about it last week when being interviewed.
He did.
And as you said, you have Walt Clyde Frazier talking about it. Happy birthday to him. He's talking about saying, hey, man, you got to be prepared and focus. You just can't go out there. That's kind of why, people love last year's team. They were going to give 110% effort.
Yeah.
And they were really locked in on the details, right? For the most part. Yeah, we know Julius can just be lazy on rotating. We know everybody has their flaws and weaknesses. This team does too, for as talented as it is. But it's, can you guys, for the most part, be locked in? And against tonight's team, no. And I see people in the comment section saying, oh, Pistons are a little physical. No, the Trailblazers are a little physical. Pistons are very physical.
Yeah.
I'm saying that playing a Trailblazers team that's a little physical should get you ready for the Pistons.
For sure.
To a certain degree.
Well, you know who's locked in physically and mentally right now? That
dog,
is the dog,
baby.
That is the dog. One half of Wingstop. OG back at it again tonight. Hot. 28 points, 7 rebounds, 2 dimes, 2 of 5 from downtown. Just incredible, man. 4 free throws, 3 steals, 2 blocks. The dog has remained hot, and it's like, where is this energy coming from, man? He's just a new man again, and I was talking to JD. I was joking with JD about how the three of us were talking after that Sixer game when he just looked so bad and wasn't moving as agile and all of that, and just like, he looks terrible. Rest him for the season. We were like, shut him down. He's looking bad out here. And all of a sudden now he looks like he's playing on, beginning of the season type of vibe. Right. He looks fantastic, bro. Absolutely incredible.
Incredible. That's even an understatement, man, for how impressive he was. The play that really impressed me tonight from OG was when you talk about that fourth quarter, right? And this is where they're doubling Bridges, in the closing minutes. They kept trying to. You see that. The Blazers were trying to say, all right, if Bridges is going to be the playmaker, let's blitz him. Let's see if he can make the right decision. One of those passes, he finds OG. OG, drives, does a turnaround step-back jumper, nails it to get 26 points to extend the lead to 9 points in that fourth quarter. I'm like, this guy's ready. This guy's on a whole other level right now because he was not doing that at the beginning of the season. Even with the way that he's driving to the basket, keeping the ball down low and then being able to bring it up and finish around the rim, he's been practicing, man, because there's some elements to that offense that he did not have at the beginning of the season whatsoever. And maybe we can contribute this to Jalen Brunson being out, and now you get to say, hey, Bridges, OG, you guys run the show. Let's figure it out. OG, you talked about OG, you asked out of Toronto because you wanted to be a third option. You want to be a top option in the offense. Proving it right now, man. Absolutely proving it over these, God knows how many games. It's just he's been so impressive. And if this is the guy that you're going to have in the playoffs, then this team can seriously take it up another notch, especially if Bridges is, flanking them the way that he is right now, man. These two guys playing it the way that they are, and I know we're talking about OG right now, then you really don't know what this Knicks team is capable of in the postseason.
Let's get to the key stats of the night. Al, brought to you by DraftKings Sportsbook. Knicks shoot 53% from the field, 43% from the Blazers. How about this? 40% for the Knicks tonight from 3 on 25 attempts. So that's pretty good. 76% from the charity stripe. They missed 3. Blazers shoot 57%, so even worse. Knicks won the rebounding battle 44-39, so good night for them there. Thought Mitch had some timely rebounds in this one, and Karl Anthony Towns also led the way from a rebounding standpoint. Josh Hart doing the damn thing there as well. Assists, 27-19. The Knicks win the assist battle. And then the turnovers, earlier, that was what was getting the Knicks going. And then also in the third quarter, 14 Blazer turnovers led to 18 Knicks points. And then 15 Knicks turnovers led to 15 Blazer points. Knicks got a little bit sloppy, and that allowed the Blazers to get back into it as well. Knicks won the fast break battle 26-16. Points in the paint, as you would expect, Knicks dominated there 62-50. And then largest lead of the night, 17 for the Knicks as they won the game, and 14 for the Blazers. Knicks had to come back and win this one, man.
Yo, from this matchup, man, the big thing that stuck out was the fast break points, 26 points to 16. You know, this is a young Trailblazers team that likes to get out and run. The fact that this Knicks team is capable of matching that type of intensity gives me a lot of hope when you think about postseason run, and you just got to get easy points. Also, you got to think about when you get fast break points, your defense is typically leading the way. You hear everybody talk about that on the telecast. And so for the fact that the Knicks are able to get out in this matchup against a stingy Trailblazers team and get 26 points, also a young team, I'm liking that just because hopefully that will translate into the postseason, especially when you got to think about facing the Boston Celtics, you think about facing the Cavs, one of those teams, even the Pacers, man, if you somehow get matched up with them, right? You need to get easy buckets against these teams. So I'm very much encouraged by that. And then just winning the rebounding battle, man. It comes down to winning the boards always will translate to good success, right? So those are the two things that stood out to me. Good win by the Knicks.
There you go, man. Good win by the Knicks indeed. And once again, the key stats of the night, ladies and gentlemen, brought to you by DraftKings Sportsbook. When it comes to college basketball and March Mania, the one thing for sure is nothing's for sure. Upsets, buzzer beaters, Cinderella's advancing, and the Final Four has been set. So get ready for Bet the Unexpected and every upset every day with DraftKings Sportsbook. With live betting, exclusive content, promos, and parlays, DraftKings is the ultimate college basketball destination for March. And if it's your first time, so to everybody on Team #new, bet $5 and get $200 in bonus bets instantly, and that's using our code KFTV. And that's on DraftKings Sportsbook. The crown is yours. If you have a gambling problem, call 1-800-GAMBLER. In New York, call 877-8-HOPE-NY or text HOPE-NY, which is 467-369. In Connecticut, help is available for problem gambling. Call 888-789-7777 or visit ccpg.org. Please play responsibly. And on behalf, 21 plus age and eligibility varies by jurisdiction. Void in Ontario. It's for new customers only, and the bonus bets expire 168 hours after issuance. For additional terms and responsible gaming resources, see dkng.co/audio. The next chick is on the Discord, ladies and gentlemen.
Ooh.
With a stadium report. Now let's see if she can get her audio going.
I figured it out. You hear me?
Okay, there we go. Crystal clear. Crystal clear.
Listen, I figured it out. I have loved this OG trade more every single day since it's happened. Like, I can't get over it. He is justifying his nickname. He's giving 100% effort on both ends of the floor. And I'm not naming names, but everyone else needs to follow suit because that man is playing out of his mind. He had such a great game today. But keeping it positive, also want to shout out the disruption that Mitch causes between him, OG, and Hart. I feel like that's the level of defensive intensity that's going to get us out of the first and second round of the playoffs. Today was
that's what
a
talking
great
about.
Example of the type of defense we need to see.
Let's go. Let's go. I did like Mitch's game tonight.
I love how
Mitch
we're
was
trending.
good tonight.
Sorry, say it again.
I said I did like Mitch's game tonight. I thought Mitch played well tonight.
He played great. I don't think it showed as much on the stat line, but Mitch was very disruptive today. There were a lot of shots that either were not taken or did not go the way they were going to go because of Mitch's presence. Like, this is why I wasn't even listening or paying any mind to the Porty Sims arguments, because none of that ever mattered to me, because once Mitch made it back, Precious was going to take that role anyway, and Mitch was going to be doing what Mitch does. So Mitch's presence is felt. I hope that he continues to do whatever he's doing with the training staff to get him, conditioned and ready. And I think they're managing his minutes perfectly well. Going into the playoffs, he's going to be such a vital piece. Trending into the playoffs, I love how we're looking. We've had some rough games, but we're missing our key piece. We're missing the glue of our team. So we get Josh a little rest. We're going to go into the postseason as close to 100% healthy as we can get. And then everybody's going to need to watch out at that point.
Shout out to Another one of our sponsors tonight. New sponsor, as you guys know, at Bear Mattress. Shout out to Bear Mattress. Al, go to bearmattress.com. Use our code KFTV for 40% off site-wide. This was the winner of Best Betting from Good Housekeeping in 2024. The Men's Health Editor's Choice and Wired recommends one of the best beds. And one of the reasons why they got rated that way is because they don't just, have different options for you. They tailor your bed according to your needs. So you take a quiz, you take a questionnaire first, talking about your sleeping patterns, any ailments that you might have, and then they select the bed that's best for you. So for me, they had sent me the Elite Hybrid. So shout out to them. As you guys see, man, over 4,000 reviews, 4.5 stars. And for me, make it 5 stars because I rock with it heavy. It's very nice, very comfortable. And for me, both me and the Knicks chick have some back ailments. We're getting older, man. We got some back ailments going on. So it's very good for the back and also keeps me cool as well. So I'm not, just sweating it out at nighttime. So it keeps me cool and very comfortable, very plush as well. So shout out to the Elite Hybrid at Bear Mattress. 82% of the people who used the mattress said that they saw sleep improvements, and 95% said that they would recommend it to a friend. So go to bearmattress.com, use our code KFTV for 40% off site-wide. You're not getting that deal anywhere else, so you might as well take advantage of it if you're looking for a mattress. Listen, I forgot what the statistic was. I just heard it on the radio today about the amount of times that we spend in bed sleeping or resting. You might as well put the investment in and get something for you because it is something that, you're going to be using for a long time of your life. Bearmattress.com, promo code KFTV for 40% off plus free shipping.